The two big injuries, Drusick obviously got hurt in Saturday's game. He'll be a little while. He's getting reevaluated today, but it looks like he'll be at least a few weeks. The good thing is that Barry has gotten some time in. It's not like we don't know what's going into the net now. Obviously, he's played extremely well when he's been given the chance. So we're confident in that. Trent Frederick, who went out on Thursday with an injury, that's still going to probably be week to week now. He'll probably miss this weekend, and hopefully he'll be back after that. But Trent's injury probably affected us more this weekend than I thought it would, just from the standpoint we didn't have practice time last week to fool around with the line combinations. We were pretty solid with the lines the first 8 games, and without him in there, we made some adjustments to the lines, and I don't think we had great flow, or none of the lines seemed to have as good a chemistry as we had hoped they had, through the weekend. But so with that being said, you'll see some new combinations today in practice.
Good, Todd.
You had mentioned that Seamus Malone, you didn't want to put all the responsibility that Trent had on him. But some of it will go to him, and what are you expecting
Absolutely.
out of him to elevate his game?
Yeah, I don't think he needs to elevate his game. He's been solid all the way through. Giving him more responsibilities on the defensive side for defensive zone faceoffs and playing against the other team's top line a little bit more. He's certainly capable of doing it. The one thing you don't want to fall into as a coach is the trap of putting him on the ice too much and wearing him down, and maybe that's some of the thing that happened Friday. I don't think our jump to start the game was good enough on Saturday. So we'll look back and see if maybe that was the case where we did overplay some guys on Friday, and it caused a slow start on Saturday.
Right.
So you talked about trying to build the confidence of this team, and then there's some success. Do you also have to teach them how to deal with success?
I think that's a good point by you, Bri, because in my mind, after Friday's win, you look at the standings and you see you're 6-3 and you're feeling pretty good about yourselves, and you kind of forget about your opponent. And that was a hardworking team that lost the game on Friday, and they were going to come out on Saturday and throw everything at you. So you better be ready. And I don't think it was. Or I do think it was one of our worst performances of the year. I think we were a little bit caught by surprise on how hard they did come at us, and it took us too long to get going. I don't think we really got playing until the third period, and they just kept coming and coming. And we did have great scoring chances that we didn't finish. Their goalie was outstanding, but you got to learn from it. You got to, we're trying to grow as a team and as a program, and we've made strides. And I think maybe, going into Saturdays, we were a little bit too confident and forgot that really you win games by how hard you compete and how much you're willing to give. And I thought at the start of the game we were a little bit flat-footed, and I'll take that responsibility on myself of not making sure that we were a little bit more focused and ready to compete at the start.
Andy, in the back.
Tony, what's the number one lesson you want this team to apply from your first road trip where you went Clarkson, St. Lawrence, to apply to this one? And they're different logistics, obviously, but what's the big carryover you would like to see them take?
Yeah, I think the parity in college hockey is something that I wasn't so sure was there, but what I've learned is if you're ready to compete, you're going to give yourself a chance to win. We've had chances to win every game this year. The difference between winning and losing is the start of a game, blocking a big shot, making the plays at the right times, and get good goaltending. So I think our team should feel really good that we've been in every game, but I also think we got to learn to push ourselves a little bit harder, to be focused, to make the commitment to know that every little play could be the difference in the game. And so we've had some good games to learn from. The little lull we had against BC in the second period there when they took the big lead, and then we decided to come out and go after them in the third period and made that a game. Saturday's game, when you start slowing, you give them 2 goals and you're chasing all night, it makes it awful hard. So I just think, we're in the process of trying to figure out, who we are, how we're going to get better. Sometimes the learning and the growing pains hurt, because I think we should have expected a lot more out of ourselves on Saturday night from the start of the game. So we can just try to work on that and make sure that we become more consistent and more desperate. And I think that's the word that Merrimack used on Saturday's game. We got to be a desperate team, and they came out and played the game like that from start to finish.
Got another one, Andy?
When you played, did you respond more to a coach who got in your face a little bit, or were you someone that was in the other spectrum?
So it's a really good question. Both, and if once you learned, I think you have to learn to understand your coach and what he needs of you. So if you had a quieter coach and that was not as much in your face, that's when the players needed to rally around each other to push each other, and that's what we're trying to get going here. We want our players to take over, and we want our players to understand. I don't think me being in their face every single day of before every game and before every period and before every shift is how you become better as a team and as a player. So individually, that's something, again, we talk about growing, that I think it's some point where I hope they figure that out and understand that and know the importance of it. And I'm really confident in our leaders that when we lose a game like we did Saturday, that we come into the next weekend with that mentality of trying to become better because of what we learned. And I think that's how you become a better team. When you make a mistake or something doesn't go well, what did you gain from it? And that's one of them right there. So I think that intensity to start the game, or desperation or urgency, whatever you want to say, whether we thought the game on Friday was easy and we were going to go out and play just an up-and-down game and beat them with our skill, that's fine. But with that skill, you got to make sure you're ready to win every battle, and the intensity needs to be there from start to finish, or you're going to give a team like Merrimack an opportunity to battle and like they did for a solid road win.
Brian?
With Matt out, Johan Bloomquist,
Mm-hmm.
if called upon, is he ready to go?
Yeah, he's practiced hard. He stayed ready. We had him on the bench for Saturday's game already, so he was dressed anyways and ready. So he hasn't seen any play in any of the games with the exception of the first exhibition game, but he's practiced well. Barry will be definitely our starter as much as we can, and if he plays well and does what he's been doing, he'll be in the cage.
Andy?
Tony, your team is going to go out and play on a rink that somewhat resembles Lake Michigan at Colorado College. Do you like the bigger sheets? I know you played most your NHL career was all about being on the smaller sheet, but how do you feel about the bigger sheets?
Well, I think it's something that you have to be adjusted and ready to play on. Personally, I'd rather play on a smaller sheet if I was playing. It would be, to me, it makes more sense. The football field's the same wherever you go. The football field's the same no matter what field you play on. I think that would be, from a hockey perspective, it would be a better thing for our game if everyone's rink was exactly the same. But we also understand that certain buildings are different, including ours. And there's not too many adjustments. You'll make some comments before the game and in practice on how to play things a little bit differently because of the size of the rink. But for the most part, it's still the same game. But I think it's a better entertaining, when everybody plays on the same size sheet.
Todd?
I believe this is the last round of the scheduling agreement with CC in Denver. Was that something you would look to renew? I mean, they're names that fans around here know, and I know that's
it
important.
would be important, I think, for our program to try and continue to have these guys on our schedule. Obviously, DU is going to be ranked #1, so they're an elite program. CC's on their way back. I think it would be good for our fans to have more familiar teams coming in and watching us on the road as well.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you.
Thank you, guys.